I'm Scott Allen Miller. This is my life living in Leon, Nicaragua. Finally, we have a really big update on the status of Marcela, who's going through stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. We're going to be bringing you the latest updates in her saga of getting treatment and all the things that are going on with that on today's show. And we do have her GoFundMe working again, which many of you know. We're starting to see people come back to the GoFundMe now that it is all working and been fixed. So that's all very good. And I think for the most part, we have very positive news. So looking forward to filling you in on where she's been and what's going on right after the box. It is a very bright and sunny day here in Leon, Nicaragua. We're not actually that hot, but it's got a good just holding on to the heat kind of day. And our sky is very bright. It is actually a Tuesday that I'm recording this. If my calculations are correct, you will be seeing this on Thursday morning. So a quick reminder that this afternoon or this evening, depending, we will be doing the live stream. We try to do the live stream every Thursday afternoon. We try to start somewhere around 5 o'clock Central American time, which is 5 o'clock Mountain. So 6 o'clock Central Daylight and so forth. It gets a little bit complicated, especially when I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. And we go for several hours. It's a great time to hang out and ask me questions, talk to other people from the show and so forth. We go for several hours. It's a big time to hang out. Throw it on a TV, ask questions from your phone. There's a lot of cool things you can do. Have a cold Tonya ready, get yourself a snack, order in some pizza, and hang out on the show. It really is cool. We get a lot of people on and just so much fun. So plan on that for your Thursday evenings. We do our best to do that. And I try to remember to tell you guys about it ahead of time. And I do my best to start early, but I'm always so busy that doing that is very difficult. I am working, and that is one of the reasons why I haven't been traveling. But quick personal news, I do have my driver's license. We're going to be able to get out and go some places pretty soon. And I do have a request from some friends who want to go to Leon Viejo and film that. We haven't filmed that in several years. I believe we were in early 2023 the last time we filmed that. So it would be great to get out and see what's changed, just do a new show from there and see that area. Just always nice to get out and do some traveling. So today on Tuesday morning, the 12th of August, right, is the very first that Marcela is doing her radiation therapy. So the quick background, she has Hodgkin's lymphoma. We discovered Hodgkin's lymphoma. Well, we discovered something was wrong in July of last year. So we're now over 12 months, right? We're really at a solid 13 months of her being very, very sick. For a long time, they did a lot of investigation trying to figure out what was wrong. They thought she had lung tumors. It's very difficult to find lymphatic cancer, right? So there was a lot of tests, a lot of false starts and such. And by around November or so, they had figured out that she had Hodgkin's lymphoma. And in January, she really started doing chemo. They were prepping. Before that, so she went from January until July doing chemotherapy, which was really difficult for her, but it does seem to have had good impact. So it's generally a positive thing. But she is very susceptible to getting canalization, to getting the needle in her arm. That really negatively affected her way more than normal people. She had allergies to a lot of the medicines that they use, not the actual treatment. That's a toxin, so you're always allergic to that, right? But to other like the painkillers and stuff that they wanted her to use, she was very allergic to. It was far worse than the chemotherapy itself. So she had a lot of very painful things, a lot of very difficult things through the chemo process. So the chemo was especially difficult to her, and she is such a trooper having done that. And she's been on the show doing live streams many times during the chemo process. But when we started off at the beginning, she was on quite a bit, and you guys noticed her tail off. And she tried to come on. She would try to put on a good face when she was there. It was very difficult for her to be on camera. It's very difficult for her to do a lot of things, right? She's tired all the time, very sick all the time, in a lot of pain all the time. So the chemo process, just as it's supposed to do, got worse as she went and just got harder and harder and harder. And by the end, it was absolutely devastating. But she made it through the chemo process. Now that she's getting a little bit of distance, right? Just a couple weeks since the final chemo treatment, she's starting to improve because the chemo really was taking a toll on her in the entire process. It just builds up in your system and gets worse and worse and worse as you go. Now her body's starting to get it out, and she's starting to have a little bit more energy, start to feel a little bit better. But now she has time to focus on other things in her life, or has been up until today, dealing with family things. And she's a single mother with 2 kids. There's a lot of helping her kids through the process of their mother going through cancer treatment, and they're very scared and it's very difficult. And her son wants to do a video in Spanish where he talks about having a mother in Nicaragua going through chemo, and it's been very hard, right? And she wants to be able to go out and work, and she hasn't really been able to do that. She wants to go spend time with her kids, and that's a very big struggle. And she wants to be able to be at her own home, which is here in León, but most of the time she can't be because her treatments are in Managua, and she needs to stay with her mother who lives across the city, but at least in Managua, but she doesn't really have space or resources there. So it's been very, very difficult being in Managua, and she's really looking forward to getting back to León. She's really looking forward to being able to be with her children again. Like a lot of this, she hasn't been able to take care of her kids, so they're you know, she's a single mom, so she has to have people take care of them and stuff. It's been very difficult, right, just in general, but she's starting to feel a little bit better, but she has to stay in Managua because all of her treatment is there. The oncology center here in León is not yet open, so that's not something we were able to take advantage of. So the big thing is after the chemo was done, the general prognosis is that the chemo went well, but it still left her with a good-sized tumor in her chest. Right about here, it is impacting her heart and her lungs, but it's not in either one. It's pushing against them. I'm doing my best to describe this. There isn't a lot of clear detail because it all gets done to her and then relayed through non-medical people with translations, and so there's details that we miss for sure. So starting today on Tuesday is the beginning of her radiation therapy. This is her next stage because they're targeting that specific tumor. They're less targeting a holistic Hodgkin's lymphoma thing, and this is a specific tumor that they're looking to burn out. So starting today, she's doing, it's not quite 30 days, it's like 26 days of radiation therapy. She goes 5 or 6 days a week and then gets 1 or 2 days of rest to recover a little bit, and then goes right back to it. So today's the 12th of August, and she is doing it until September 4th is her final treatment. There is no known treatment for her post September 4th. So that is the hope, that this will be effective and she will be going into tests to see what the situation is on September 4th. So she has nearly a full month, a little bit less, of essentially nonstop daily radiation therapy where they're hitting her in the chest and trying to burn out that tumor at the new oncology center on the southwest side of Managua. She's been based out of Manolo and using the oncology center there in Belo Horizonte, and then recently she was transferred as her main hospital to Militar, which is on this side of the city, and there's a new oncology center that just opened on the South Road, and that is where she's doing the treatments, I believe. It's hard to keep track of all the places, especially when I don't have to go there. So one of the big challenges is she has to take buses and taxis every single day around the city because it's not easy for her to get places. She's leaving at like 5 o'clock in the morning, riding buses for hours, often has to sit and wait for several hours, and then has to make it home after doing the treatments. It's very time consuming and very exhausting, and of course she's feeling sick and all that. So today being the first day, she is back home after doing her treatment. So I've spoken to her since she did the treatment. She doesn't feel too badly. She says her head feels weird, her stomach feels weird, which is normal with radiation. But she did not say that it hurt all that badly. She may be holding that back, but that is her. It's more that she feels really weird after her first day. So we'll see how she feels. She's trying to sleep, but the power was out in Managua at the time that she was trying to sleep. So always something, right? And they don't have air conditioning or anything there. It's a very warm part of the city in Villa Libertad, so that is our current status. We don't have a ton of details, but radiation has started. She will be doing it every day. I will do my best to get updates on a regular basis. We'll try to put updates on the live stream, right? This is Thursday morning. Tonight we should be on the live stream. Hopefully I've got all my timing right, and we'll have a couple more days of details to give you. She is not coming back to León for a month, right? It'll be September before she can come back here because she's got to be at that radiation therapy every day basically, so there isn't time for her to pack up, come out here, do anything, go back, and she certainly can't be here on the live stream because that happens during the week, right, when she's doing the radiation. So it's going to be a very tough month for her. She has no free time, but she's also super bored, so she's just stuck in a room at her mother's house. She doesn't have a TV there, she doesn't have anything there, right? It's not where she lives. She's just sleeping basically on a couch is what it is, a bed, but it's basically like just sleeping on her mother's couch in Managua, far away from her own stuff and her friends and family. She does have friends out there. People are coming to see her, but it's a very tough time, right? Very, very tough, but only till September 4th. And hopefully we get some really good feedback pretty quickly. And that is my car coming by. And that's where we are, right? So a lot of unknowns, but it's very encouraging that radiation has started. It is encouraging that the chemo went well, we believe. The doctors seem to have a good prognosis on things. Things are moving forward well. She's generally feeling okay. So it's a good process. So at this point, not a ton of news, but it is a major update that her chemo is done. Her radiation has started. We now know how long it's going to go, what day is her final day. And then from there, hopefully, you know, about a week after that, I assume they'll start doing the test to really see how it has gone and how the radiation has affected her. And so that is the process. So while it doesn't tell us a ton about her condition, it is a major update. It's a first really big change in her tramite, in her process of treatment for all of this, right? We knew when she started the chemo in January that it was going to go through to July, and we really wouldn't have a lot of information other than how hard is it hitting her, like how bad does she feel, how is that going? That's all we knew we were going to have during that time, and it was very, very rough. And now so far after the first day, we're hopeful that this will not be nearly as bad. Definitely her first day of chemo was much worse than her first day of radiation, but radiation is every day, so this is going to build up really quickly. So we're going to see how that goes. But thank you so much, everyone who has been supporting, whether in the messages or in the GoFundMe or in person or everything. Like, it really does mean a lot to her. And she is emotionally very, very much struggling. This is a very hard process, as you can imagine. Late stage cancer, being a single mother, being young, going through this treatment, losing a year of her life. More than a year of her life is already lost to this. Last July, she wasn't able to breathe. Like, we were worried about losing her between July and August. It was that bad, right? And so this has been a very difficult year. Her life has been completely on hold in the hopes of extending her life, right? And at this point, there's a lot of hope that things are going well, that this may just be a hiccup and something that she's going to get past. But this is an unbelievable thing for someone so young and to go through. I can't even imagine having children that she's worried about not being able to see grow up, of course, and all the problems with the GoFundMe that we had. A lot of just extra stress is absolutely not needed at this time. But thank you so much for everyone who did do the GoFundMe, everyone who's been doing it. We're seeing people are seeing that it is back open again, and we're seeing the donations come back. For those who are not aware, we had a little hiccup. We did a GoFundMe. We raised the money we thought that she was going to need to get her through 2 years of expected treatments and being really sick and needing help taking care of her kids. And there was a problem with the bank connection with GoFundMe, and GoFundMe, with no notification, at least no visible notification, it sent all the money back. So it wasn't lost. Nobody lost money, but it didn't go to Marcela. It went back to the people who donated it, and some people have given back again, but we were a little bit worried because we didn't know the GoFundMe was going to work. It is now definitely verified, completely working, so I'll put the information in the show notes. It's always in the show notes, right? But the GoFundMe to get money to her and help with this process and help her take care of her kids and help with having to live in Managua and taking the taxis and all those things. There's so much she needs help with outside of the healthcare, which of course is taken care of by the country, but everything else in her life, it is a really big deal. So really appreciate everyone who helps make that possible for her. That is in the show notes. Please consider giving. And it definitely works. We know, we've seen money actually start flowing. It really does work this time. It's the same account, right? It's not a new one. It's the same one. You can see it's the same one as before. So thank you so much. And as far as the show goes, you can help support the work we do here by watching another show, sharing on social media, tell someone about the show, buy me a coffee, all that information. Plus, send in your questions, send in your comments, send your notifications to Marcela. Get down in the comments and say things. She watches the show. She watches the show a lot because she has very little else to do much of the time. And it really is encouraging for her when you guys reach out to her. And we will get her back on the live stream as soon as we can. But I don't know when that's going to be. No promises. That is very likely not going to be until late September. We got to get past the 4th. We got to get past her test immediately after that. Hopefully she's feeling okay, and hopefully very quickly, and I'm sure she's very anxious, immediately after her treatment is done, that she'll be able to move back here to Leon and be here at least the majority of the time. She had just moved into her house here within weeks of when all this happened. So she has had a house here in Leon for about a year and a half and has never had more than a few days to be able to live in it, which has been absolutely awful for her. It's a house that she wanted for a really long time, and now that she has it, she never gets to live in it. So we're very hopeful that that is going to change very soon. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I will see all of you, hopefully, on the live stream later today. The rest of you, I will see tomorrow.